That's not when.
I don't know, drifting videos and all that stuff, all the car stuff you watch.
You think watching Ken Block Gymkhana videos is what got ESPN?
You know what's crazy? I bought for Valentine's Day. I bought Aaron a shit ton of Reese's Pieces, and the day I bought it, I went on my Facebook that later that night, and I saw a sponsored ad for Reese's Pieces. Like,
Yep.
what is the odds?
Not. I mean.
Ben's like it's not odds.
Yeah, they're not.
Right, you know what I'm
Yeah.
that's Big Brother.
Mhm.
It's insane. Like they'll listen. It's audio. It's listening. It's not like because I didn't type it. I didn't type to anyone. I didn't make a post about it. It's just listening.
Or it's like, yo, this dude gets a cheer. Peasy.
Cool.
What's breezy?
We gotta stop doing that.
It's the 32 ND. It's not a 30-second episode.
That's what I heard. I was like, and thank you for listening.
And we'll catch you in 2 weeks.
Like, comment, subscribe.
There we go.
My little brother's already asking if we're playing Apex tonight.
I am.
I mean,
sure.
Yes, I gotta play Far Cry and
Anthem.
Crackdown. And
Anthem. Oh man.
Have you played it yet?
No.
All right, that's a weird thing to say then. Play it. It's pretty.
It looks old. It looks outdated. I don't know.
I think it's pretty. The first cutscene, the opening like of the game is super dope. That's about all I've played though.
It looks like it's trying to choke you with neon.
Yeah, have you played any Crackdown ever?
Yes.
They're all neon orgasms. What's up, everybody? Sarge, Ryan. I couldn't do Twitch because I couldn't figure out how to get that shit fixed on my phone. So I'm just.
This is not podcast pertinent. What you're saying.
He asked.
This is the 60-minute shit show, episode 32. I am your host, Tech Supreme, with my co-host
Get so.
and our special guest.
who can't talk on topic. Caleb Sawyer.
We're all streaming live, so for this episode, we are only talking about video games.
Oh yeah, my area of expertise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You got a podcast that I listen to.
Hey.
That's pretty much only video games.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it, Nerdy Bits.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. I try to check out every episode.
Awesome, man. We just moved to a new podcasting app you can use on the web called Cast that lets us record audio locally and then share it to a cloud.
Okay.
And makes all of our audio sound so much better. So I'm super excited for that.
Dope.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Glad you listened to it. Thanks.
Yeah,
Appreciate
man. I subscribe.
And yeah, nice.
I'm just putting it for the live feed.
Oh, okay.
But I'm sure it's backwards.
We
so-
should do the next one with the Nerdy Bits logo on there
Oh yeah.
for the 32.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
logo matchup.
Little co-sponsor.
Yeah.
So because Nerdy Bits is here, and the last topic on their show was, are games too cheap?
Yeah, so games cost more.
That's our first topic. Now I'm going to rely on our expert to give us maybe some statistics, maybe something to actually talk about rather than just our opinions, and being 35, 34, and 27-year-old. So that, which is a lot to go on. We've been buying games for decades, but
Good audio. Good audio.
so
Yeah.
I've got lots of opinions, but hopefully you got opening gambit. Go.
Okay. Yeah. So in the argument of whether or not games should cost more, there's a lot of stuff that's going on in the news for games. If you pay attention to that stuff, where Activision just laid off like 800 employees despite having a record year in sales,
Mm-hmm.
the most money they've made in a year ever, but they didn't hit the goals they set out. So this motherfucker started his conference earnings call by saying this year was a record year, and then they sheared 800 jobs. And then with all the big like AAA games that are coming out, everyone's realizing that the price of making games is still going up, and the price of buying games has stayed the same for like 20 years.
I would argue they've gone down.
Factor in inflation, like a $60 game back in the day, which is what they costed on like Genesis and Nintendo.
Actually, it fluctuated a lot. For some reason, I remember it not being a consistent price. And I worked at a place called Babbage's, which got absorbed into GameStop, and we were selling GoldenEye for $75. Yeah, probably. But so 64 cartridges for whatever reason were expensive.
Yeah. And if you look,
and they had different size cartridges. Sorry, last one they had 16 meg and 32 meg cartridges, like different sizes, and they put that on the box, like it's an actual bigger game, and then they would charge you more for it.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Like Grand Theft Auto, just for the last, I guess, little point of reference, Grand Theft Auto cost $500 million to make. Grand Theft Auto 5 was $500 million to make. Now, that bringing that up is a little bit of a weird one to bring up because that game did make $1 billion in sales in the first like 30 hours.
Yeah.
But like games that are that big cost that much to make.
Yeah, the AAA titles. So they,
Yeah.
I mean, they have to. It's and there's hundreds of people working on it. It's huge.
Yeah. So how do these companies that spend this much make that money back so they can keep the people that work there?
I mean, they do though, for the most part. Like, and it's the burdens on the game developer.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't. We should. There's a expected price that you should have to pay, and I think we're at that mark right now.
But
Now, if we start getting
if
to
it's
the
never changed and inflation has, then and gas goes up, food goes up, everything goes
well,
up.
gas fluctuates.
Yeah, you're right. Bad example. But like cost of living goes up. Why hasn't games? In fact, you could say they've gone down.
I mean, consoles have gone up.
Not really.
Yo, my
Nuh-uh.
God, yes.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
300 and Nintendo Super Nintendo was $300, right?
Yeah, in the 80s, which is $600.
Talking about adjusted.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Well,
mean,
also-
you got to.
Also, you got to think about there's a
$1's not a dollar, really.
Grand Theft Auto cost $500 million to make and was made by a team of like 380 people, right? Tower of Draga was made by a small team of like 27 people. Both of those games cost the same price. How?
I mean, also
27 people
at
made
this-
a game on old NES.
But the people, the money behind the 27 people, does that equal the money behind the studio making Grand Theft Auto? Is that the same? Because if not, then their reach is going to be smaller than the other people's reach.
but it's
So
just
it's kind of saying it's unfair that this costs the same.
But you could argue that like if a game costs a company $25,000 to make, and it's sold at $60, then a game that makes a company almost a $500 million to make should be maybe worth a little more because more work
Nah.
went into it.
That's not how it goes.
If you draw something for 10 minutes, if you work
You-
on a flyer for 10 minutes and then you work on a flyer for 2.5 hours, which one's getting charged more?
See, that's
This is a little trickier. That
a
might be
little
tricky because you get an hourly rate. It doesn't matter if it's 10 minutes or an hour.
yeah.
Okay,
Typically.
Grand Theft Auto took 7 years to make.
So you're saying you want to pay more for it? Is that what you're saying?
I am saying
'Cause as
games
a
are too cheap
consumer-
right now.
As a consumer, I'm going to say, nah, I'm good.
Tell me a game that you're not playing just about every day, year after year.
Because I'm not playing every day.
Tell me about a game you've played so much that you wouldn't have spent just a little bit more for. If you played how many hours of PUBG? 60 at least.
No more than that.
How much money you put into Apex?
Right now, $20.
The game's
Okay.
free. Why'd you put money into it?
Because it was, I got it for free, so I was like, might as well.
Let's put a pin in that because our last topic is the new pay-to-play model.
Okay.
Uh,
So the thing I like to break it down with is like if you go to a movie, that's 2 hours of entertainment for $15.
That's like saying, so I got to go see say I go see a fucking, I don't know, Joy Luck Club, some bullshit, some movie that just has no special effects. So I got to pay more for Avengers because it costs more to make.
No, that's not what I was going for.
I'm just saying, that whole thing doesn't make sense to me.
I think it's a different version of
Invested.
the argument.
Invested
So-
versus invested making the game versus output.
Yeah, so my argument is if you go to a movie, it's $15 for 2 hours of entertainment.
Okay.
If you play a game for $60 worth of entertainment based on that model, you play that game for 8 hours. So if you play a game for 30 hours, should you not be paying a little more for that game because of how much
Next.
content's in it?
No. See, like you create a product, right?
Yeah.
And on certain things, yes, right? There's certain things in the world that we buy, cars, yes. Different cars cost different amounts of money, right? But
Why?
Why? Because
Let's dissect this. Why?
we don't know everyone's back end. It may cost the same amount to make a Mercedes as it makes a Toyota, a Lexus or a Toyota, since the same company is behind it, right? We don't know that. So we're paying
Lexus,
for
Toyota, yeah, Infinity, Nissan, yeah, of course. But
we're paying for a brand.
Mercedes,
paying for
Honda.
branding. So with video games, with products, albums, you don't know how much money is invested into someone's making a record. We don't know how many years it took. Like,
Records have different price points, though.
not really.
I mean, they're
within a window. Within a window.
There's the special edition stuff that's hundreds, but mostly
Yeah, we're
between
talking about-
15 and $30.
Yeah, there's a set price here.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to get the new fucking album from Jay-Z. It's going to cost $30. Never going to happen.
So how do you explain indie games that release for like $3, $4, $5, $7, $9? Smaller games made by smaller people with smaller budgets.
They're creating a lower price point to attract more people because they don't have the marketing money that the big AAA titles have.
Right.
But then that makes sense because you have games that are indie that are coming out for $60 as well.
Because they said fuck that.
Yeah,
That's business.
That's weird to
That's
me.
not consumer game value. I mean, I understand in your heart, you're like, I should pay more because I'm getting so much more. And
Yeah.
I feel you, but that's not how it works.
Well,
Why not?
okay,
that's
but
that's the
Because
the
conversation.
conversation is that
Because certain things are set at a price point. That's it. That's just it. And that, like
Okay.
saying, like,
and you're saying that it should stay that way regardless. What would change for? Why would it change for you?
because
Let's-
I don't want to pay over $100 for a video game, and if I have to, I won't.
$100 is a big leap from 60. When did you spend 100? NBA?
I spent 100 on NBA
Okay.
2K19.
And that included some
VC.
boosters and some
Yeah.
currency. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if it didn't?
If it didn't include that,
Yeah.
then I probably it'll be really tough for me to just because I've as old as I am and been playing video games as long as I have, and I'm used to this price point.
Mhm.
And the same thing with sneakers. Back we had a transition in the 2000s, 90s, late 90s to 2000s, where Jordans in the 90s may have been $100, $120,
Tops.
and now everything shifted to $200,
Mhm.
right? And you lost a lot of people that way. But does the company care, right? They want
Making
that.
more money.
So I'm sure, and all the developers, AAA developers, want to, but they know that maybe that's going to probably hurt their bottom line. That's why they keep trying to sneak in these little, buy this edition, and they're
Well, I have a couple theories.
play with your balls a little bit and get you to pay.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I have a couple theories to punctuate that. First, one thing I want to say though is let's say that Red Dead Redemption is more like a Ferrari, in that it took forever to make.
Yep.
It was extremely handcrafted, and it cost a shitload of money, right? And a lot of those Ferraris are built by hand. They can only put out like 10 a year or something like that. Weird analogy, but if you figure
Yeah, sure.
dedication, right? And they're masters, all masters of their craft. There's no interns at Ferrari, right? So, and Ferraris cost more. So if you have as
Call of Duty.
or, I'm going to rag on Sea of Thieves was $60, and that game had almost nothing in it. Like,
Yeah.
put Red Dead and Sea of Thieves next to each other.
Why do those cost the same thing?
Yeah, Tech. Why do Sea of Thieves and Red Dead cost the same?
I don't know.
Maybe you're so staunchly stuck in this. They should be 60, and I will never spend more than 60 unless I'm getting something out of it. Isn't quite good, because maybe Sea of Thieves should have been 30, and let people grow in this. And I think if that game came out 30, everybody would be like, "Oh, that's cool. It's 30."
That's the problem with PUBG, right? Compared to Fortnite, which is kind of leading to your point about value,
Sure.
right? Fortnite's free, runs smooth. I've never seen it crash. I've never heard a streamer say, maybe a glitch here and there, but like not really. You know what I'm saying?
It didn't have the growing pains that PUBG had.
And then PUBG is $30, and it's fucking almost unplayable.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah, for a long time. It's
There was a
still
time where
bad.
it would crash 5 times per match.
It's still bad. Today, bro, it's still bad. It's
Yeah.
like so, and then a lot of people were pissed because like, why did I pay for this?
Sure.
But I still think with the millions of people who are gaming and buying games, and the youth and I think that they're at a price point for a reason, and I think they would lose more money if they raise prices more.
Well, the prices are already all over the place. My second theory was that back when I was selling games, I was watching them putting games out in these steel cases
Yeah.
and the special editions. I was there when the special editions started.
Yeah.
Because they used to just, here's your game in a box, shut up and go home. That's it.
Mhm.
Then you could buy a $100 version with an action figure in it. A $150 version because it's a steel box.
Yeah.
And everybody was doing it, and we were selling out. So the industry was like, oh, so you will spend more than $60 for a game.
Yeah, but still, they never left the price point of the base game, no matter what.
I have a memory, and my memories are shady and weird. 'Cause I'm not trusting my memories anymore. I remember games being 50
Yeah, they were $49.99
for a long time,
They crept up to 60.
and then it crept to
They
60
haven't, though.
a while ago.
I think when the console switched has something to do with that.
Which console switch?
I want to say 360 to 1.
Ooh.
No, I'm talking a long time.
360 games were $60.
Were they?
What about PS1?
50
We're all
60.
streaming, so we can't.
I
fact check.
can. My phone is dying, so I stopped streaming and
No.
I dropped
Yeah,
down.
so I don't know, man. It's weird to me that like we would assume that as something becomes more difficult and more expensive to make, the price remain, because that doesn't exist in anything
Yes, it does. Movie
at
tickets.
all. Movie tickets have gone up.
Mm,
People used to buy. My dad went and saw Star Wars 15 times in theaters for like 75
Yeah,
cents.
30 years ago. But in the last
Wow.
15 years,
Sure,
10 years,
but
it's
that's
been the
not.
same.
But that's not stayed the same.
In the last 20 years, if you go to the first show, you get it for $5 to $8. You go to the late show, 10 to 15.
That's not a big,
and I'm from New Jersey. Where New York, they've always been $20 tickets. So
that's not a, even if we take both of your stores into account, that's not a great big hike.
Proportionally, though, we're talking about something that's only been up to $15 and it started lower. Video games started around 30, 40 and have only gone up to 60. And if even like,
no, games have been all over the place. They've always been 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80
yeah,
for eternity. It's just fluctuating. And I think we've got this, maybe it's not a big deal. We seem to be insisting that people are stuck on 60 when we're not. I don't think Caesar and Mo and all our friends have ever spent $60 in a game. They always get the special editions or whatever. Like,
yeah, well, that's because games needed to figure out a way to make themselves more sustainable. So they release a game, then they'll release a $30 season pass later. That $30 season pass is not to get you out of your money. That is them working on a game a year after it releases and trying to pay for the work they're doing. That's why season passes existed. That's now why battle passes exist in Fortnite.
keep the studio open.
Yeah. And like Fortnite, you could argue they don't need any fucking money anymore because they don't. They've made way too much money based off what they've already done. But when games release things like that and add season passes or add the dreaded microtransactions, that's not because they want to like leech money from you. That's because they want to be able to keep working on their stuff.
let me give you a quick little fact. 2001 Xbox 300, 2005 360 400, Xbox One 13 500, 2013 500. So it's gone up $100 with each console release. That's the actual price.
But go back to like the Ataris.
Okay, we can go back there.
Yeah, because like one of the Ataris was like $900.
I mean, one of them, like my dad had an Atari. He ain't paying $100 for it. Atari 2600 was $200 in 1977.
Which is how much now?
771 now. But I don't like that inflation rate. That's I guess. But
How do you not factoring that?
$200 to you back then would hurt way more than $200 now. That's what.
It depends if you were hurt back then. If you're hurting for money back then.
No, that's like 700. That's like
I hear what you're saying, but I don't. I'm not a big fan of that. Like comparing inflation rates, I just don't.
All right. No, that's saying if that system.
So when they used to sell land for a quarter, you didn't think that was a lot of money?
No, man, but like you're trying to make a point off of something that's not a fact. It's just
inflation's absolutely a fact.
The cost was $200 then.
You're saying inflation? You're saying
because it hurt you. Did
minimum wage in the 70s when that came out? Minimum wage was like $3.
All right, cool.
Right, so if you were working minimum wage, you're making $3. $200 was a lot of money compared to what you were making on a 40-hour work week.
And a brand new Mustang was like $5,000.
Since I was 4 in 1977, I wasn't making much of anything. But in my lifetime, as far as buying video games is concerned, a $200, you know, it wasn't that big of a difference. Even if I'm looking at the inflation cost of $200 for SNES in '91 to $343, that's not a ton of money unless you're.
That's right in there. That's right in there.
No, the NES is cool.
That's right in there.
But if
I'm talking about like
our generation, sure.
Yeah.
So
that's right in there.
If a system came out for $700 a day, though, you'd laugh at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the MSRP wasn't $700. I see what you're saying. Like,
bro, they sold Mustangs for brand new Mustang $5,000.
Okay.
Back in the day, so you have to take inflation into account. The dollar was different back then.
All right.
You have to. You have to.
I don't have to do anything.
You do. I'm demanding you to.
I could literally be completely stubborn and say no. I don't like. You're telling me like, oh, it's $700 now. Sure, I guess.
I mean, that's a.
What we haven't talked about here, though, is the difference that video games are harder to make now. They're more difficult.
AAA.
They take more. They take more to go into and to build them out the way that they are. You like Legend of Zelda was a different. The original like Zelda games were a different level of difficult than fucking Red Dead. We'll go back to the Red Dead
Breath of the Wild
as much as we can, or Breath of the Wild. Like building a game that's only one camera angle and loads in squares as you move side to side and it pans
that you can beat in 4 hours
is completely different than a game.
Can we have difficulty inflation? Because I feel like in 1977 it's difficult as fuck and you have to write thousands upon thousands
but the difference is
on thousands pages of code.
But the difference is
that's not easy. You can load up an engine today and make a ball roll across the fucking screen. Which they couldn't do that in 1977. So can we have a difficulty of technology inflation? There was no.
That's what the argument is about. Games are harder and more expensive to make. A handcrafted chair is more expensive than a machine-made chair. Straight up.
I actually looked at that. It's funny because I was going to do a Facebook topic about How would you spend more on something that was made by hand? Like, would you
No,
buy a
see,
couch
you
from
guys-
Italy if it was made by hand versus going to IKEA, putting it together yourself?
A few months ago, I went to New Orleans to Mardi Gras World, right?
Uh-huh.
Which is this huge factory where all the floats pretty much in the world are created, in America are created. And they were talking about pricing of all these wonderful things. And then they got to the machine room, right? This huge, gigantic $1 million machine that does a job what 5 people do, right? How can you tell them that's gonna be less? Like, they spent millions of dollars for this machine. Obviously, they probably want to charge more. See
Well,
what I'm saying?
that's an argument over so it's like buying a Tesla and saying it's going to save you money on gas, right? It's more expensive to buy in, but in the long run, you're not paying employees, you're not paying pensions, you're not paying insurance. So yes, a machine that does the work for 5 people may cost a lot up front, but if that machine works for 20 years, that's what's into this purchase is if that machine works for 20
Should make it
years,
cheaper.
that's 20 years of insurance you're not paying for, 20 years of hourly wages you're not paying for.
20
That's-
years of electricity and maintenance, and
The electricity for a machine is not going to be the same as all of those things for 5 people.
we don't. That sounds like we can't quantify right now.
5 people working in a warehouse, say they're making $17 an hour because that's general like a dangerous job.
I mean,
wage.
also this machine has to run 24 hours. So like
No, it doesn't.
this one that I'm referring to does.
Okay, so still, but we're talking $17 an hour for 5 people. That's 80 hours per 5, so that's 4,000 hours over 5 people for 2 weeks.
I just threw out the number 5 people. I mean, it's
Still, but that
So what's your point? Let's get to your point.
we're talking about like if say you make $30,000 at this job, 5 people making $30,000 is $150,000 a year, right? And then you have to cover them for insurance because they're working in a warehouse, which is a dangerous thing. Most warehouses have to pay more for insurance for their employees because if someone gets hurt, they have to be able to cover it, and it's a job where people get hurt more often. That's how that works.
I mean,
So-
factories are buying machines to cut costs. This is a.
In a machine that does the
So what is
You've seen a modern car factory; it's all
So
robots.
what is your point as far as price points? Because that's what we're talking about, price points.
Well, I didn't quite get yours. You're saying that because they have a machine, they should charge.
No, I mean there's
more
no
or
reason
less.
for them to charge less. There's no reason for them to charge less because they bought a machine that's very expensive,
Okay.
and it may
Well,
take
there's-
them 20 years to recoup it.
Oh, okay, yeah,
I
sure,
mean-
yeah, well, all right, fine. I mean, it's their imperative to automate their system. There's,
If Henry Ford doesn't make an assembly line though, like cars are too expensive for people to buy.
I feel like we're off the rails on this
we
topic.
totally are.
Yeah.
So let's
so-
let's move on to the next topic because we can't sit and talk about one topic for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Just any last words on do game prices need to go up? I say no.
Video games are statistically and objectively harder and more expensive to make now than they've ever been. They need to be more expensive to buy. Or we need to be willing to pay more in terms of things outside of just paying the upfront price.
I think there needs to be a sort of a known structure so that you kind of know what you're getting, right? So like games like Red Dead, you go, okay, this is a huge AAA game. You're gonna be spending dozens or hundreds of hours on this, or not like Skyrim. People spent 300 hours on that shit. I don't know. Maybe not. It's weird because like I've spent 300 hours on Warframe, and I've spent maybe $5 a month. So like I don't know. It doesn't quite work that way.
Y'all are crazy.
Apex is free, so like spending more might not just be the answer. I mean, maybe if it's a 300-hour
What is the
single
end-
player
what's
game.
What's the end result of spending more? The company gets more rich than the Red Dead gets more rich than the money they
I
made.
think you're underestimating
this
how many
whole-
companies go sneakers up in this
And
industry.
this whole conversation so far has not brought up the fact that video game studios are some of the most in state for more than a year because most jobs are contract. And when you work for a big company like EA that makes literally billions of dollars a year and they still cut 800 people because they didn't make as much as they wanted, finding a way to make that industry more sustainable is why this conversation happens.
I think this conversation is more about business and less about video game prices. You also have
Sure.
the owner
big,
or
big,
whatever
biggest
saying,
business in the world.
saying that, hey guys, record year,
Right.
could buy 800 people. That's not because the game price was too low. That's because they're assholes.
Right. No, and
That's
Yeah.
like that's
That's incongruous with the conversation.
And arguing that the game price goes up is ignoring the fact that 6 people that work for Activision Blizzard, 6 people, the top 6 in their C section, CFO, CEO, made $85 million last year.
yeah. See, you got a lot of fat rats with the cheese at the top,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
and then telling the guys at the bottom, sorry, gotta let you go.
Yeah, really, it's
That's more business being fucked up
Well,
than
okay,
it is
so
about price points.
really it's more an argument of figuring out like
that's at one end of the spectrum.
unionizing jobs
You
Yeah.
you know what's
Sure,
going to
yeah.
happen if you raise the price on those games? And the same thing will happen. They're going to still cut those 800
Yeah.
people, and instead of the 85 million, just throw that number out because I know we're talking about activism and I'm talking about something else.
Yeah.
That numbers is going to be higher, 115 million
Yeah.
each. You know, like that's all that's going to happen.
Yeah, raising the price of games is probably more of a stopgap because I think the real solution is probably unionizing game development.
Well, you read that
Shit like that.
read that chapter in Blood, Sweat, and Pixels on Obsidian, where they raised $5 million for the Baldur's Gate sequel, and just barely made it. They ran out of money when the game came down, and they made their money back. But this is like the shoestring budget. They raised Kickstarter for the money. They produced the game until they ran out of the last dollar, and the game came out,
Also,
and then they recouped that.
did someone buy a Mercedes? Like you don't know. Like there's so many behind the scenes things that we don't know when it comes to business.
Well, this was a outside looking in piece.
Yeah, this is a journalistic.
So I would imagine that if he said they pissed their money away, that this guy would have said something about that. So let's just look at this as the other end of the spectrum, from people pissing all the money away to spending every last dollar as artfully as they could to produce something. They still ran out of money. So it was, I don't remember how long the project was. It was a couple of years or whatever, but there are a lot of companies out there running on a shoestring budget because games are a particular price.
So I'll just say this: it seems to me you guys have like a lot of love for the developers and the people who are like on the lower levels trying to survive in the
Sure.
gaming industry. So I think the push would be to buy more independent games
Absolutely.
and invest more into that.
Yeah.
Good luck with that though, because people generally don't see those. You know, the most part they see
Yeah.
the
They're
AAA
there if you
titles.
they're there if
They
you
see
look.
They see the Red Dead
Yeah.
Redemption commercials.
Yeah.
And you see the billboards in Times Square of Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
And then all the
Yeah.
they just have that
But
money. Same thing with music though. Like
Yeah.
it's literally the same thing with music.
This whole conversation is very like pushing a rock up a hill only to let it fall down the next side, because we can argue about this all we want, but like people that go out and buy Call of Duty don't give a fuck about any of this stuff
Nope.
at all.
Nope.
People
Don't
that
think
bought
twice
the
about
people
it.
that bought Blackout don't care that 800 people got laid off. They're
Oh,
gonna,
no.
they're gonna buy the next Activision Call of Duty game.
They probably don't know active like. Oh yeah, it is the thing in front of the when I put the game on, the thing that pops up.
Oh, yeah.
Activision. Oh yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
You know. So
Yeah, it's like shot into a void.
yeah. All right. Next topic: the good grind, dissecting the gameplay loop,
Yeah, man.
which is a very interesting concept that I didn't really like trip off of until we had that conversation a couple weeks ago about the gameplay loop.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, man.
every game is fucking the same shit.
It's a loop, man. It's a thing for sure.
One of the strongest memories I have was watching the Halo 2 documentary, because that game went through some shit before it got made. But there's a guy talking about how you run, you shoot, you throw a grenade, you reload. That's Halo. You might jump, you might stick someone. The Halo 2 had sticking. You had dual wield, but the loop was very tight. They said it was about 35 seconds. Halo 2, and probably 1 and 3 were about the same 30 seconds over and over and over again.
That is a very interesting way of thinking of a game.
And that's why those Warthog levels were so great. It was like, nice
Something
change of pace.
different.
Yeah. And then they had planes you could fly eventually. So that's why those were so goddamn refreshing. But
Is
it's
it a
the
bad
same
thing,
30
though?
seconds. No,
Is that why
because
we love it?
what's
think
the
that's why we love
gameplay loop for
Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden or Mario? Like it's the same shit.
Yeah.
Mario is okay. So the older games were a bit of a sandbox. Here's a control. You go left to right. You can do whatever you want. Like you got to puzzle. You got to figure it out.
That loop's just extended. It's
I
still
think I was
there.
gonna say that. My
Yeah.
next point was I think the loops is getting bigger.
That loop is start game, kill things, earn coins, extra, and time limit, and then finish flag, and then the reward screen after that. That's
Mhm.
still a loop. That's like each level is its
Yeah.
own built-in loop with bookends.
That's a
Loops
level
are-
loop. I wouldn't call it a gameplay loop.
Well, that's the
I'm
gameplay
talking-
of the game. Though.
It's like when you
Your
put a bunch
action.
of
You have a list of
when you
actions.
paste a bunch of gameplay loops together, then you have a level loop. I think that's a bigger structure. But I'm talking about the more insular, smallest bite of a game you could look at. You
All
know?
right, so let's do this. NBA 2K,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Jump,
Dribble,
you dribble,
yeah, shoot,
you shoot,
pass,
you pass, you get
dunk.
you dunk.
Big aspect.
You stop to play defense,
Mhm.
block,
Yeah, defense,
steal,
offense.
loop,
Yeah,
repeat.
yeah. So that's maybe a minute. You do all those things. 30 seconds.
25 seconds.
Change of
25, yeah.
change of possession. Yeah,
Yeah. So how about like Spider-Man?
that's real simple. Swing and beat up. That's kind of it.
Yep.
Swing, beat up.
That's
Swing,
kind of
puzzles.
it.
Swing beat up.
Puzzles.
Yeah.
What
beat
more
up,
do you? What
all
more?
that shit.
What more do you want?
So
I literally turn on that game sometimes just to fucking
Just to
swing through
swing.
New York, and like 15 minutes later, I'm like, dude, I feel better. I'm good. And then I'll switch to something else.
well,
Like,
I 100% of that game, and everything was gone, and I'm still swinging around, just going. I mean, maybe something will pop up, knowing it's not gonna.
Maybe the game will just
Yeah.
create
I
shit,
thought maybe
yeah.
some kid would drop their balloon again, like old OG Spider-Man 2.
Oh man, that game was
My balloon. But yeah, man, gameplay loops, and then and then it's like extremely subjective.
What do you mean, like in terms of like how people like things,
Yeah,
or how
yeah.
you find them?
Like put a loop in front of somebody, sit them down. Like if you're on this trade show floor and you're going from booth to booth,
Yeah.
and you pick up one controller and you go, right, and then you play another one until the demo is over, and then then you go find your friend. You go, like, yo, you gotta play this.
You gotta go play this. Yeah.
So the gameplay loop is completely subjective. Some people don't give a shit about Halo, and go completely fucking bonkers over Call of Duty.
I think those loops are very different.
I don't think we're in love with loops. I think we're in love with the scenario. And the loop is just the backdrop to the scenario, right? Because like
So
Apex
yeah,
Legends,
yeah.
right?
Loop.
It's
What's
a
the
loop.
loop? What's the loop?
Shoot, or run, loot, shoot,
Drop,
drop,
because you can redrop in the match.
Yeah. Fly.
And then all the little abilities.
Yeah.
It's drop, loot, shoot.
But the scenarios that happen with that, you know, like
Yeah.
we're doing
Those are
this,
different.
and then this happens, and like
Yeah.
they're always different. Like PUBG was really good for this because every game is a different story. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like
And every win is a completely different story.
completely different.
You never
win.
win the same way.
And never.
And
So
to this day, I still have it outside the window, and I had the AWM, but the AWM is doped for 100 meters,
Mhm.
and they were less than 100 meters and close. So headshots went over them.
Mm.
And I missed 5 times and died the zone, and we lost the fucking game. And I was like, bro, I lost that. I threw like 3 grenades that bounced off the rock and went.
Mhm.
I get to that house in that game still and go, oh, this is where I fucking.
I'll
Like-
never forget military base for Christy, your mom,
Yeah.
beating the shit out of you and you screaming the entire time. I'll never
Yeah.
forget that. But that's a
Mom,
scenario.
no, stop!
Yep.
You do the loop, scenario happens around it, and that's what we're in love with. I think.
So let's get
So Ben, you said something about the aesthetic. Was that you? Tech. You
I
said something.
think it was tech about it's
We're not in
not
love
just
with the loop. We're in love with the what?
everything else.
with the scenario.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stories, the music.
I would argue that except Sea of Thieves is my scenario. Pirates, ocean, boat, sailing. The loop did not. I nope.
Yeah.
I did not
Yeah.
hook onto that loop at all.
Yeah.
I bounced off of it several times.
Yeah.
And like
Okay.
I'm
Until things got crazy, you're like, yes, this.
until it was like instead of
Yeah.
it being like sail, find treasure, turn treasure in,
Yeah.
maybe fight, and it turned from that to like sail, fight, treasure, fight, run, fight, turn in,
Shit, we
fight.
sank.
Like that loop
Yeah.
was like, yes, I'm always on my toes. The other loop was like, but this. It was fun for the first 8 hours.
So yeah.
So you're in love with this the fighting scenario,
Mhm.
but not the loop leading to that.
Well, here's where things are interesting.
Interesting.
Those of you who listen know I'm quite the fan of that game, but I haven't played in months. I hit a wall, and I said I talked to Mom the other day, and I was like, I really want to play again. I really miss being on the water or whatever. And then she's like, but
Oh,
yeah,
I hit that wall 8 hours in. You
Yeah,
hit that
sure.
wall 80 hours
and
in.
Mo hit that wall immediately.
So
But
I think
Mo
the,
never climbed the wall.
I think what I'm saying is still accurate to the Sea of Thieves because I think the interaction and the fighting is the scenario
yeah,
because everyone's doing this loop.
Yeah.
But then when you come into
Mm.
contact, there is a new loop introduced, which is a part of the loop system, but is that interaction and that varying scenarios of battle
So
is what you like.
define scenario. Do you mean like
It's a
genre,
different
or
loop.
do you mean like it's just another name for loop?
Well, my way of saying scenario is probably what happens within the loop.
Yeah.
Like what happens because of the loop. The
Mhm,
loop.
mhm.
You know, like
Mm.
like Mario Brothers, right? Yes, loop. Super Mario Maker, when you play those
Shit.
levels,
Right.
that's different scenarios.
Yeah.
That's that loop just
Logic puzzles
intricated
and
intricated into different scenarios. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's what gives gameplay loop staying power is the alteration within the loop, which I think is what you're saying is scenarios.
PUBG.
Is that loop changing?
Battle Royale in
Yeah,
general.
It's the same loop, but like it tells a different story every single time.
Sure.
Yeah, like you're saying, your PUBG loop in the building is the shoot, right? But this is the scenario is you're too close
Yeah.
with the AWM and you're missing them. That's the scenario,
Mhm.
and
Sure.
they're there.
Yeah.
They're the scenario. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Yeah,
Everything, like
yeah.
everything that's not a part of your loop, like them being there is not your loop.
But I had scenarios in Sea of Thieves I absolutely loved,
Yeah.
and still didn't like the game because the loop sucked.
You just don't like
Because
the game.
everything after that was like,
Yeah, it was like everything leading up to it was like I'm falling asleep. oh my god, huge fight, this is amazing, and then it was like, oh yeah.
All right, so the new mode, Arena,
Oh god.
it's the same number of players on a very small map. Everybody spawns so close that as soon as you spawn, everybody's shooting.
That's awesome.
It's pretty great. Everybody gets the same loot maps, so everybody's going for the same treasure. So you could get there too late, and everybody's turning it into the same spot on the map. So it's kind of like a mini royale. Everybody's going out, getting the same treasure, coming at all the same spot. It's awesome, and there's no respawn timer. So as soon as you land on the ship,
Did it bring you back though?
oh yeah. No, I'll absolutely try to pull everybody back into this. It's fun. I don't know if it's like 10 hours a week kind of fun, but this is like,
Yeah.
Remember when Call of Duty was good? We'd pop in for a couple of matches, or even Overwatch, and then we'd go do something else.
Mhm.
This is at least once a week kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's 30 minutes max, and you can't escape from the ship. It's crazy cool. It's what most of the people that liked see these all in one small moment. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's dope.
Well, I enjoyed this conversation about the loops.
Yeah.
It's a really fun concept to think of games that way.
Yeah, you'll catch yourself doing it. Like now that now that you're aware, you'll
Yeah.
catch yourself finding them and stuff.
But sort of like
You'll play over Apex and you'll realize it's the same 4 things.
But it's inevitable though too, because there's
Yeah.
only so many things you can do with buttons.
Right.
You know, with the
I mean, even big
a
games
lot
like
of buttons that
like
you
the
have.
like the Batman games that are really big and they
Mhm.
feel infinite, and you can just do a lot of things.
You do the same shit every time you land. You
You-
drop, beat,
You get in the
beat hell out of
Batmobile,
people.
jump out, beat somebody up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I think that's why Red Dead was so gratifying for me, is because like, yeah, you can only do so much with buttons, but that game did so much with scenario, where it was like, oh, these buttons do something different right now. Like I can say, hey to these people, what's
Mhm.
up? I can use those same buttons in a different situation to diffuse the situation or not.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that game was dope and like kept me going because it just kept altering that loop and like,
That scenario, bro.
I wouldn't mind bringing this to more relevant times before we move on, because I feel like Anthem and Destiny and Warframe have all been in the same conversation lately.
Yeah.
Because they all share a lot of the same features, and you could put all of their gameplay loops under one umbrella, because they're all very similar. So I wonder why some people play Destiny and some people fell in love with Anthem right away, and some people can't stop playing Warframe, or like,
I think it goes-
that's why I said it was subjective initially, because
yeah.
all very different.
But there's so many reasons,
But all
so
very
many
the same.
factors. You can't even say like those two things. I can't say there's a loop and a scenario that people love. It could be feel, aesthetic. It could be subliminal promotion, subliminal marketing. It
Yeah.
could be so many factors of why someone will like a game,
Hmm.
even if it's similar.
So you're not going to put it all in the loop.
There's a reason. Well, there's a reason why NBA 2K19 is the number one selling basketball game in the world, and NBA Live 19, which is made by EA, was sold for $6 this week. So there's a reason for it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Same mechanics, same people, same
Yeah.
same playable characters,
Mhm.
same exact concepts.
So you are or
Same
are
rules.
not putting it all in the loop.
I'm not. Well, you can't.
Hmm.
And I said you can't.
I'm going to put it on yes.
I can
I'm going to put it in the loop.
I can describe in 3 words why I like or dislike all 3 of those games. And
Sure.
1 word for each.
Okay, I was going to say sure and move on, but one word.
That's why I don't like it.
Mhm.
It doesn't feel hard. I like Anthem because of freedom and how much I can move around.
Okay.
That
I dig
alters
that.
those loops enough for me that like
Yeah.
Destiny, it's the same shit always. Warframe, I've never felt truly tested by a combat situation.
Hmm.
And when I die, most of the time it's like, what just happened?
Yeah,
I don't know why.
yeah.
And Anthem, it's like
It's dense.
Anthem, we had that thing last night where it was like I was on a bridge, got attacked, jumped off, flew around the bridge, and it just like
Yeah,
Oh,
last
it's-
night felt pretty good.
Yeah.
Last night swayed my opinion a little bit, Tech.
Good.
I'm swinging towards the positive on Anthem. I'm not sold yet. I'm still going to wait on the reviews. My own cloud right now.
yeah.
People
And the
do-
reviews aren't going to be accurate. I can almost guarantee.
Why?
Because it's a game that's going to evolve over time. They have like story and strike and content releases planned like every other month for the next like 18 months.
Oh, so if you play nothing but story, the game won't be done.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
That's intriguing.
Yeah.
That's intriguing.
Yes.
Next topic.
Moving on.
Yeah, sorry, we left you behind on that one.
Speaking of intrigue, no, I'm
Oh,
joking.
what?
Player/consumer agency in the industry. Explain that.
I feel like sometimes a lot of games are made by committee, such as players have too much agency over a game's output and development. You know, somebody says, "Oh, this player sucks, so the developer's like, okay, we're gonna buff the character, and then
That's
everybody complains.
Everything creative in this world. It's literally every
No,
like
hell no.
It's
What are you
only
talking
that.
about? No
What
way.
else is it like that in?
movies.
What was the
Music.
last movie
Okay,
you
well,
saw that changed? based
Okay,
on
movies are made by like
DC.
300 people, but like I'm talking about like the fans.
Yeah, no,
Being involved.
The fans like
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Prometheus, amazing movie. Did you like Prometheus?
I like it a lot.
Did you like
Not
Prometheus?
in the theater.
Did you like it though?
I do now. Yeah.
Okay. Mass response was so this is what happens. The world says it's trash. The majority voices the negativity ruled. They make Prometheus 2.
That's where the word trash came.
Alien Resurrection completely changed the storyline. They adjusted, trying to make it a more alien, trying to please these
Yeah.
fucks. You fucks, you fuck you, and
Wow.
ruined it. Now the Prometheus 2 that's horrible. It's a horrible movie.
Oh, Alien Covenant.
Yeah, Alien Covenant.
Ooh.
It's horrible.
It's not a good movie.
Horrible movie.
It's pretty.
Trying to
They're
acquiesce.
all pretty.
Trying to acquiesce to the people who complain about Prometheus. It happens all the time. People come up with the album,
Yeah.
and then people will slam the
Oh,
album.
in games where that's happening while the game's being made. Like
I mean, we're in
the game's out, people complain, the game changes.
yeah.
The same product you downloaded is not the same product a year after.
We're in a different age right now where like games are rolling out. Before, a developer will put the game out and we're done.
No such thing as a patch.
And now it's just like, oh, we're working on this. You're gonna work on this game for 5 years. You know, like Overwatch. A motherfucker is gonna go to work tomorrow and work on Overwatch.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
so like we're in a different time.
Fucking
So
World of Warcraft has never had a sequel.
Yeah.
They never said this is done. You now have to buy World of Warcraft 2.
Yeah.
It's been like 15 updates.
Expansions. Yeah.
which is great for us, you know.
Is
But
it?
then, yeah, I think it is.
Why?
For consumers, you mean?
Yeah, yeah. That means my dollar goes further, and as a consumer, I want that. We already have Overwatch. Oh, there's a new character. Cool. I'm gonna go home and play it.
That's okay for Overwatch. It does not work that way for World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
You
well-
have to pay for
Well,
every
I've
expansion.
never.
Yeah.
To buy for every
So
expansion.
I would argue that it's good in some ways and bad in others. Because like Overwatch is dope because I can turn it on, and like there's
New stuff.
There's 4 new characters.
Yeah.
Dope. I want to play this. And that's solely because Destiny. I think it's to its detriment because that game will both times Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 the core game they released was garbage. It was
Say it.
entertaining. It was
You
entertaining.
mispronounced that. It's pronounced trash.
Okay.
Or garbage.
Got a badge, yo. So yeah, like it was fun for like a couple hours, maybe a dozen, and then everybody was like, "Oh, this kind of sucks." And then their big year 1 release, everyone paid a ton of money for, like $40 to $50 for, and then the game was better. And like I think that was Destiny taking advantage of people's faith in the first game, and then changing a bunch of stuff and fixing it, and excitement over the new stuff they fixed that shouldn't have needed to be fixed in the first place.
Yeah,
But I don't think that's player agency. I think that's a company taking advantage of player
that's
agency.
that's back. I was thinking while you were saying that, it's back to business and
Yeah.
and
No, I appreciate player agency because it means that stuff
mean,
can change
here's the thing,
if
right?
it's bad.
I represent a different fan of video games than you do, right? I'm sports, and 2K19 came out. There were certain things that the community universally said this is not good, and the next week it's patched.
Yep.
Same thing with PUBG. You know, if enough
Yeah.
problems come up, let people tweet about it and post about it. They'll make adjustments for the better, some for the worse. It seems like the Destiny one seems to be a bit schemy.
It just seems like they can't figure out what they want because they can't, because nobody's in charge.
But you can't-
Millions of people are in charge.
You can't ignore the very people that it's for. You just
No,
can't.
but I think creative.
Like,
No, it
they
depends
made
who
a
you
game.
ask.
They made a game that was broken initially, fixed it with Taken King, and then went back to what was broken in Destiny 1 for Destiny 2, and then went back to what was fixed in Taken King for Forsaken.
What if
it
they
was
did
a
that on
circle.
purpose? What if they did that for
That's
money?
that's why I say I don't like it because it looks like they did it on fucking purpose.
Yeah, like they probably did that on purpose. It sounds like they did it on purpose.
That's weird.
Yeah.
But like as far as like, you have to listen to your fans. You have to be able to
To a degree.
a degree. Yeah, they have down. Player pool is down.
Yeah.
Everyone's complaining about this. What should we do? Well, there's gonna be a group of people say, well, we can afford to fix it, or we can't.
Came out and gave players the option when creating their character to let your character go by they them pronouns rather than he him or she
Neat.
her, and the vocal minority in the community was like fuck this game, fuck this game, fuck this game, because they're assholes. And the BattleTech creators were like, no, fuck you, and stop listening, which is fucking dope. So like,
Yeah.
not everybody listens. Some people hear a bunch of shit coming at them, and they're like, wait, no, this is dumb, and they don't do it. Yeah.
Cool.
Next,
7 minutes, one and done. Get out of there. Next.
Single player versus multiplayer.
I have to pull myself away from multiplayer to get through a goddamn single player game lately. Like, Red Dead took me fucking 4 months.
Oh, I beat Red Dead in like 30 days.
Nah, man. I was the last person in my
didn't get
circle.
that
Yeah.
far.
Except for Tech, I was the last person to beat it, I think. And I haven't touched Below, which is
Unless I had to start over.
Yeah.
I was like, nope, nope, nope. It's a roguelike, so if you die, you like lose all your shit. And you have to either go find it or like just start over.
start over. Yeah.
Nah. I played for like an hour and a half. I was like, this is dope. Oh, I died. I just start from a checkpoint. Oh, this is a roguelike. Uninstall. I didn't go back to it.
And the only single player games I'm playing now are not single player, I guess. The only campaigns I'm playing are not single player. Or you can play multiplayer co-op.
Yeah. What was the last single player game you played and beat?
Spider-Man.
Oh, okay, nice. I did play both Spider-Man and God of War last year. Those were so good I couldn't put them down.
Yep. That's
So,
the hook.
yeah.
Something about Red Dead didn't click right away.
Yeah.
Or it was just slow.
It's just long. So long. That game is forever long.
So Spider-Man yours, Red Dead yours.
Yeah. As far as recent, yeah.
I try to mix it up. I'm playing Far Cry right now. Playing Crackdown right now. Playing Hitman 2 right now. Going through all those. Those are all single. Well, Far Cry is co-op. Crackdown can be co-op. I haven't played a co-op yet. But Far Cry or Hitman is single player. I don't know. I don't have a preference. It just depends on how good it is.
So I think I just have more fun with friends. I think that's what it is. It
I'm-
boils down to it. And I played tons.
Yeah.
See, sports games like 2K, that's a single player game. I have 100 hours in that, easily. So I mean, that's single player for all intents and purposes.
At the end of my work day, I want to meet up with my people.
Yeah, I'm
and play
with my
something.
friends.
I didn't miss hanging out with people playing Red Dead though. Like when I was in that game going through it, I had like days where I would get on and not. I would join the party for a few minutes and hang out, or we'd be in a party playing Red Dead, and it would be
Yeah.
and like that's nice because I've got the comparison or the companionship of friends like while I'm playing and we can talk about shit. But like, no, I like being able to unplug, and I think that maybe is different for people that work at home and people that work with other people.
Sure.
When I work with a bunch of people, I go home. I'm like, I'm playing.
Leave me alone. Yeah.
Don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And if you work at home, and you don't interact with a bunch of people, maybe that's why multiplayer like pops for y'all because you guys do most of your work from home.
I wonder what Halo Infinite's gonna be.
But it's a trend to get rid of campaigns altogether, isn't it? Happening a lot.
Halo said it will have a larger campaign than 5, and it will focus on Chief more. So
Cool.
they're all
They have an
about
amazing story.
Yeah, they're all about story.
But Call of Duty is a huge game, and they got rid of that single player this year.
Nobody cared either.
Didn't miss
I didn't buy it
Didn't miss it.
because it didn't have a story.
I bought it because I'm Battle Royale hungry. I
That
was chopping at the bitch for
Yo,
Battle
I
Royale.
played Infinite Warfare and loved that game.
game is great.
I didn't play the multiplayer. I played the single player and absolutely loved it, and then uninstalled it.
Is that the one where you shoot people in the airport? Which one was that?
That was
it's
that
Modern
was
Warfare
that
2.
was Modern Warfare 2.
Okay.
Infinite Warfare was the one in space with like spaceships.
sci-fi.
Oh yeah, I didn't play that one.
Oh, it was so good. And the campaign was written by the lead voice actor.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, Brian Bloom wrote the whole script. Anyway,
So this is the next topic because next topic.
Yeah.
First person versus third person. I find this one interesting.
it depends on. That's like asking what's your favorite movie. What's your top 3 movies, right?
I'm gonna see. I'm judging people who play third person.
Well, are you talking about first or third person in Battle Royale? Or are you talking first or third
Anything.
person? Period.
I mean, Battle Royale is where it kind of hits the most home for me because
That's where you're judging.
that's the
people.
tactical. Like you're taking a whole unrealistic approach
Mhm.
Yeah.
to tactic.
You can see things that you're not looking at.
Yeah, like third person, I can see who's walking up the stairs right now.
Oh, I hate getting corner peeked by people. And I walk
Yeah.
up and they're like, hey, but how did you know I was there?
Because it's third person.
Yeah.
In Battle Royale sense, I think noobs play third person.
Sure. Oh, I
It's sort of the
totally
default.
agree with that.
It's sort of default. It's in all the commercials. That's the default third person for that.
Mhm.
PC players play it mostly.
I think
Choco Taco, Shroud.
Everyone, all the real,
All the
players,
real players. he
all the
says.
ones that are insane and do first person.
yeah. I think the first person in Anthem in the town is weird. It makes you pick a face, and then you never see it again.
You don't know that. What if there's cutscenes where you're in it?
But I've seen cutscenes, and I'm not.
It's the first 10 hours of the game. Who knows?
Okay.
Why would they give you your character a face if you don't?
But
see
why
it?
why make town first person in a third person game? That's strange to me. Why? What's
Oh
the
yeah,
point?
I don't know. Probably because it's more detailed. First person you can walk up and look at something, and third person you can't because you're 2.5 feet behind the person's head always.
You just pull the left trigger and you go in their head.
Sure.
Yeah.
What are you guys' thoughts on it?
I think they each have their own place. I loved God of War or
Gears of War, I think that was more for gameplay purposes, right? Because it's part of the mechanics to lean
what they
against
call
corners.
that corner pop or whatever they call that,
Yeah.
moving pop or something like that.
The corner,
Yeah.
the little corner,
Yeah.
cover.
Yeah.
So I thought it was more like.
Also,
lead
That would have been
towards
really weird in
gameplay.
first person
Yeah, would have been
because your back would have been to the wall and you're like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would have been fucking
Yeah.
weird.
But I mean,
God, I wish I want a battle royale game with cover locking, cover pop. That would be amazing.
Doesn't Call of Duty do that? Wait,
Okay, I want a third person battle royale
Think so.
game where you can stick to walls and cover. That would be
Oh.
awesome.
just Gears of War Royale.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
that would be awesome.
And
So
so
make gunfights completely different.
yeah, realistic if I dare say so. Like I
If
think
I say so dare myself.
I
say.
mean,
every time I die in a shooter,
sorry.
I'm going, oh yeah, I was standing out in the middle of the open. Everything from Anthem to Warframe. I'm like, oh yeah, I was out in the open. Duh.
yeah.
I probably should have been standing behind something. For some reason, when it's first person, you feel less obligated to move like you're playing in a third person cover based shooter. The actual mechanic.
So does PUBG though.
But
People first person they cover and
they sure do. You're right.
lean
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
Like if you don't, you're gonna get killed. All the
That's
time.
right. That's the wall between being a
A good and bad
good
player.
player. But yeah.
So I don't know. Like, do you just like third-person games overall?
No, I mean I didn't even trip off of it until recently, really.
Well,
'Cause
yeah.
Star Wars kind of took it, Battlefront kind of put me in the third person world. I just didn't think twice about it.
Yeah.
But like coming up gaming, playing 007 and Perfect Dark, first person, and just years of learning how to play these first person shooter games.
Oh wow.
We don't think twice about it, and then
Gears
little
was one of the
sprinkles.
first.
Yeah, Gears of War comes through.
There was a Star Wars game on 64 called Shadows of the Empire, and you played a Han Solo parallel kind of guy, Dash Rendar. He's like a bounty hunter
Yeah.
or something like that, smuggler, and it was third person, and you had to shoot in third person. That was one of the oldest third person shooter games I can think of.
So you said you didn't, or third person was okay with for Gears because it was like a gameplay thing.
It was part of
built
the
in.
gameplay.
Yeah.
In what situations that like third person you don't like? It's not part of the gameplay.
PUBG.
Other than
PUBG,
but
Star Wars.
other than that,
Other
though,
than that,
Star Wars. I don't.
yeah,
like that.
Battlefront. There's no reason to be in third person
There's no reason to be in third person whatsoever.
unless you can see more.
I mean, you can see your character, and I guess that's cool, But like,
well, it wasn't. Was it third person in the second Battlefront?
Both you can. You click a stick or
You can
something.
go back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't, especially when it comes to shooters. I don't think it's just. I don't. If it's not a part of the gameplay, like Gears of War,
Okay.
I think it's just a handicap.
So it's
kinda-
like third person in shooters you don't like,
Yeah.
but in adventure games it's cool.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so like Spider-Man, Uncharted.
I mean,
Right.
Spider-Man is
Weapons,
almost
all that.
necessary.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, you would
it's-
vomit in first person with Spider-Man.
It would
You'd never be looking
unplayable.
forward ever.
Yeah, it'd be unplayable.
You'd be doing flips and you'd be like,
Be like going sideways and
Yeah.
yeah.
I think the first and third person conversation could only really be dissected with shooters
Yeah.
because that's first person shooter. That's
Right,
like the fucking
right,
name
right,
of the genre.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I was thinking like overall because I was gonna say like Hitman's dope. It's third person. Like, why would I have a problem with that? You mean shooter specifically? I don't.
That's the only way. That's the only way that you can kind of compare like
Yeah.
why it's not okay.
Right.
I prefer the Division in third person.
That's
here's
cover
the thing.
based.
Here's the thing.
Cover based.
If I have a character I get to customize, I want it to be third person.
Wait a minute. When you go to cover in Division, it goes third, doesn't
The
it?
whole game's third person.
Oh, okay. I thought what game is that? Like Rainbow Six or something?
Rainbow Six would be first person, and you cover up and you go outside your character. Rainbow Six Vegas and Rainbow Six Vegas 2 were like that. I don't know about the other ones before that.
What about now?
No, you can't cover up in Siege.
Oh,
Yeah, you can peek,
intriguing.
but you can't cover up.
More cover based, please.
But yeah, if I have a character that I can customize, I want a third person. And if I don't, fuck it. Unless it's Call of Duty. Because in Call of Duty and Battlefield, you can customize your shit. And I don't feel like I need to see that because I can see it I don't know. Like, but if a Division was first person, like I wouldn't care about all the cosmetic shit they give you.
Yeah.
Same with the skin I have for my Gibraltar because I have that legendary Ghostface killer looking.
Yeah.
It's dope.
Yeah.
Uh,
But I mean, yeah.
I guess it depends.
Maybe.
But
I think on shooting skill set comes into play. And that's my problem.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. And third person's weird a lot because of like
Third person feels strange in a shooter,
Mhm.
usually.
unless it's like a Tom Clancy game, they do third
Or it's
person
built
well.
around it or Division. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We only have a couple left, right?
One more left.
Okay, good.
Uno más. Oh yeah, this is the big one.
The
Big
new
one's a big boy.
pay to play.
Which is it's sort of, yeah, maybe shouldn't be called that. Because free is free.
Every game is pay to play, except for the free to play ones.
Yeah, which are coming out of the woodwork. And I think Overwatch is about to go free.
Oh, I mean, it should. Why would you buy Overwatch 3 years in?
Yeah, it better not be $60.
It is.
Yeah,
Grand Theft Auto 5 was $60
that
like
game
6 months ago,
hung onto its price tag forever.
and it's the most profitable piece of creative content ever created.
Why did we buy that game on disc, by the way? We had the game on disc, and that's
On
I
it.
don't
360?
know.
Yeah. No, but what was Grand Theft Auto 5?
5?
That was one.
It was on 360 first.
Was it?
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I remember us playing it.
That's why it looks like shit.
Yeah. They ported Grand Theft Auto 5 to Xbox One like a year after Xbox One came
You're
out.
right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
GTA 5 was a September 2013 Xbox 360 release.
that's crazy.
People
And
still play
PS3.
it.
They do.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's a fucking almost 6-year-old game.
$6 for
Yeah,
some-
I don't like that. But
Yeah.
you know what though?
Oh, that's
Here's the thing, and
that's play center stuff too, I think.
I think it's okay if it does not affect the gameplay.
That's the general
Yeah,
consensus.
right.
Is that
So, like, who
if it's
cares?
not making you a better
I'm
player,
not gonna buy that. If you get upset that you had to pay that much for that skin, don't fucking buy it.
Don't buy this game.
right?
Also,
I really want that one skin. You know what
I
I'm
have
talking about.
I have less of an issue with those Apex skins right now because I know they're coming out with a battle pass, and like that'll be $15 every 90 days,
Mhm.
and it will unlock like tiers of stuff you get for playing the game.
Yeah.
Like does like Rocket League.
I
does,
would
that
like
stuff.
a better for Apex Legends in particular, like for like getting ranking up, not ranking up, but like getting unlockables. Like
That's the battle pass.
yeah,
Have you played anything with the battle pass?
I
yet?
have not. I haven't because it came out with PUBG that I would play, right? Because I didn't do Fortnite, of course, because I'm
Yeah. You're
fucking old.
You're an adult.
Fucking old as shit. But like yeah, like so PUBG came out with the Vikendi battle pass, and I'm like, I'm not buying that. Like
Yep.
I'm just not going to. 'cause it's
PUBG brought it up and it was like, I don't care about this game anymore.
Yeah, like I don't care.
That falls right in line with their brand new Suicide Squad skins. Let's talk about being behind the ball.
Listen,
on
I
this.
tweeted back and I was like, yeah, too late.
Yeah.
Hard pass, way too late.
Yeah. So
Weird.
So behind. They're just so dysfunctional.
yeah. So Rocket League is awful. But essentially what it does is it gives you, say the Apex Battle Pass, I think they're planning to do one every 3 months. So you buy a Battle Pass for like $15 to $25 for 90 days that has tiered unlocks that you level up outside of your character level while you're playing the game.
Okay.
So like as you play, you earn XP for both your character and the battle pass, whatever they decide to call it. And each level you unlock new stuff. And as most of these companies do, like Fortnite and Rocket League specifically, and PUBG did it too, each season has stuff you can unlock and you don't have to buy the pass. You just unlock like half as much stuff and it's different. So if you pay the battle pass, you get extra stuff, you get something every level, and you get cooler stuff because you paid for it. And if you don't pay for it, they still give you a little bit of stuff for playing the game because they want you to just come back. But I think that's going to give you that, like, you want more unlocking stuff as you go. I think that's going to happen a lot more when that battle pass comes out. I think beginning of next month.
And I think that's a cool system. I'm okay with
Yeah,
that. Like
super
I'm
down with that.
super okay with
Gotta find them.
gold
Right,
two.
exactly,
Yeah.
Someone
exactly.
flying out with 2 gold guns.
Right, killing people on the way down.
Yeah, but FIFA Ultimate Team, like, if you buy more packs, you're more likely to have more legendary characters.
Yeah.
So, like, you will be better,
Yeah. It's a
which
shame.
sucks.
Yeah.
And then, like, Apex, like, it's still technically gambling because you're putting money into a thing that's a mystery and you're hoping you're getting good shit.
Yeah.
Which is
Doesn't
like,
affect the gameplay loop.
but it doesn't affect the gameplay loop, which is not a huge deal to me.
Obviously, people are doing it wrong. Some people are doing it wrong.
Yeah.
EA is doing it wrong. I think for like their sports games.
Oh, I was gonna say Apex is EA.
I know.
Yeah.
So
EA deserves as much credit as they deserve discredit.
well, you can tell that
'Cause
they're
They fucked up FIFA, but they fixed Battlefront, and then they created.
They fixed
Apex.
Battlefront before it came out, and people still didn't buy it.
true.
No,
Like you got the 10-hour early access. People were like, "What the fuck?" They
Yeah.
removed all of the microtransactions before release date,
wow.
and the people still tanked that game because of how mad they were about what they saw in beta.
Well, hit.
That bandwagon vitriol.
Battlefield 5 failed EA because of what people saw in the beta.
It's
The
crazy.
beta was so bad, people wrote that game off, and when the game came out, all the problems were fixed, but no one bought
Anthem's gonna have a hard time.
Yeah, they are. You
'Cause
know
that
they
demo
are.
was bad.
You know they
it.
are.
I think Anthem has more pre-orders than any game EA's ever released.
Yeah, but
So-
that beta.
Also, the market.
Everybody's talking shit about the beta.
But
Everybody.
it's got more pre-orders than any game EA's ever made. They're not going to hurt. It's a new IP, and people are all about it. By the way, the Division has more pre-orders. Division 2 has more pre-orders than the Division 1 had, and the Division 1 is the highest-selling new IP ever created
Oh,
in games. So
that game does not intrigue me.
Pay to play.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Ben?
Child that grew up really quick. It came out. People didn't know what to do with it. Microtransactions pay to win, and I think we've already figured it out. I think the industry figured it out. What not? And it's interesting. Apex create a product that's very simple. You have 8 characters and 1 map, right? And then hang on, we got more coming. And now, honestly, I think that's where Sea of Thieves fucked up to bring it all back. That should have been either $30 or free, and with payable cosmetics, and then the people that contribute the game, they get more features every few months.
I think from a business standpoint, I would say that they were smart to make it $60 because I feel like with that game, if they didn't, then people wouldn't play it.
guys, Sea of Thieves had 5 million players because it was on Game Pass, and you could get it for free.
But yeah,
Not because people bought it for $60.
Right.
Well, I'm just
and the
saying,
numbers are actually still
starting-
going up now because of streamers.
I just think starting out,
It's like number 6 on
would-
Twitch.
they did good by getting that money.
Yeah, you got
You
the
know.
right.
Yeah,
If
I
it
think
ca-
they might have made more money.
If it came out it has to be a special game to come out free and pop. People come out with free games all the time, I think, from what I
Sure.
know. And you guys understand, you guys are super video game experts. You definitely study it, Caleb. I am just a consumer.
Mine's just experience based,
I'm just a player.
and
Like,
I
just
and I
play
research things. That's
games. Yeah. So
it. So real quick then, what games have come out free and made it like right out the box, like not Apex style?
Fortnite, Apex, those are your big
Fortnite was
ones.
not free when it started.
No, but
Battle
Battle
Royale
Royale
came
was.
after.
Fortnite was popular when it was free.
Yeah,
The original Fortnite, nobody.
No one fucked with that original.
we did.
I don't know anybody
Built
else.
a
that
fort
did.
and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how many other games came out trying to
League of Legends is
oh my god.
that's one of the
Culling.
biggest games in the world.
Culling is a battle royale that came out. That's free. No
Yeah.
one fucked
Yeah,
with that.
League of Legends, shit.
League of
That's
Legends
That's one of
is
the biggest examples in the world.
League of Legends is huge. Dota's huge.
There's duds all the time though.
Sure.
There's duds all the time.
Oh yeah, sure.
People are still playing Paladins, the Overwatch analogy.
Didn't that game go belly up?
Did it?
No wait. Yeah, it did.
Oh.
It did. They released all the assets to the public though, so they can do whatever they want with it.
Interesting.
So I think it's still out because people are putting stuff up. But,
Hmm.
Lawbreakers went belly up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cliff Blazinski's not making games anymore, not because of it.
yeah. He was like, I'm never starting another company where I'm never going to work in a place where I have to tell people that they don't have a job anymore. Because he had to like tell an entire studio people are working on something that they loved. Yeah, we're close.
You ready to fire someone?
Yes,
It's the worst.
it's not good.
It's the worst feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Have I ever fired someone? Is that it? I don't
The
know.
icebox.
Don't describe it. I had a writer on 30 Bits years ago that like I kept trying to help them improve.
Were you
and, like,
paying
giving them? Well, no, but I was giving them like code to stuff that I got so because they wanted to review, and I kept like editing their stuff and being like, you gotta look at this, look at this. Basically, I was trying to coach them along, and they weren't improving. And they started sending me stuff that I stopped publishing until they stopped.
So it's like
The
the
thing
editorial term for ghosting someone.
Yeah.
I think yeah. Interesting episode.
Yeah.
Probably definitely different from our normal episodes.
Mhm.
So if you're still listening, appreciate the listening.
Yeah, thanks.
This is we just wanted to get it out of our systems.
We got a lot of things to talk about.
Yeah.
I want to talk more about Anthem, but that's all right.
I want to talk more about Apex Legends, but that's all right.
Game's not out. We'll talk about it next week.
Next time we're gonna talk about some shit that's happening in the world. You know, still happening.
Shit's still shitting.
Trump's still doing shit.
Yeah.
National emergency, you all. Buckle up.
Side note, just real quick, Don Cheadle last night on Saturday Night Live, he ended the show with a Russian hockey jersey. I don't know the history of it, but it's basically hard to get Russian jersey, right?
Yeah.
And on the back, when he turned around, it had Trump's name on it, and the number was 45.
Apparently, Trump
Amazing.
lashed back, and CNN said it was too far.
And underneath Don Cheadle's jersey was a T-shirt that said "Protect trans kids."
Trans kids.
Damn.
Yeah, Cheadle knocking out the park.
Yeah.
War Machine, let's go.
If you don't follow him on Twitter, you should.
Oh yeah,
He is wildly entertaining.
Awesome.
He claps back. If you tweet him, he'll clap back if it's wrong.
Yeah.
And I love it.
that's awesome.
He's really entertaining to follow. So yeah, Caleb, plug time.
Oh yeah, I do a podcast called Bounty Board, and then I post it every week on Mondays. We got an episode coming out tomorrow. You can find it on iTunes and Stitcher, and a bunch of other podcatchers. We're in the process of narrowing down where you can find it because a lot of things just leech RSS feeds. And I'll tell you 3 streamers that we have schedules for. We're putting together a YouTube channel, all sorts of stuff. So
Nerdy Bits is growing.
that's nerdybits.com. All the stuff there. The podcast right now is called Bounty Board. We do that every week.
Exciting.
Shout out to Eric
creepy.
Glass, Sergeant Sodium, and Bobby Pease for being on the show. They're awesome.
Tightness. What you got going on?
Nothing, man. A lot of behind the scenes production stuff. It looks like Dead Palace is getting turned into a 4-part series that we might run a Kickstarter for. So keep your eyes open for that. We don't know if we're going to do one big Kickstarter for the whole book, or do a very tiny Kickstarters for each book, like a $2,000 Kickstarter, so for book 1, so forth, so on. But that's coming in a few months. That's a ways off. So I got a new animation up on YouTube called Control Z. Don't look for Control Z. There's hundreds of thousands of videos called Control Z, as you could imagine.
Good job.
But
Working
it's
on
on my
SEO.
channel. But yeah, I'm pretty proud of that. So
Cool.
Dope.
Nice.
yeah.
Dope.
I ain't got nothing going on. About to go to South by Southwest to do some DJing. That's cool.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's about it.
All right.
Oh, I'm releasing an EP.
Oh shit.
It's called
That's kind of a big deal.
the Grooveland EP. It's coming out March 12th, and it's 4 tracks, and it's kind of like different. It's just like smoother,
All right.
kind of like smoother to this episode.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
Like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Tell your friends.
Do all the things you do with everybody else
Smash that like button.
with us.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Support local. I do want to say real quick, rest in peace to a great concept, great restaurant. Good Fortune is closing.
Never even heard of it.
You never heard of Good Fortune?
No.
I think Publico is closing too on Delmar.
Who?
Publico, that South
Yeah,
American place.
Publico. I never.
That was a 4-star high concept, sort of one piece of bacon on the plate kind of place. So I could see that not really lasting on the loop.
Yeah.
Also,
And I'm sure,
Loops construction has fucked a lot of people up.
yeah, I think everybody there's probably got jobs and they'll just open up something else somewhere different.
I see. We can have a conversation about that. I have this very, very strong feeling that it does not matter where you are in the city of St. Louis. If you have good food and a good business, they will come no matter what. Because Sotaco is
sure.
opening up restaurants in
Sure.
Chicago and motherfucking every county in St. Louis, and they're right in the middle of all the construction too. It has. I feel like people say this all the time, like,
So-
location, that location. You know, like it has nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Soul Taco's established. Publico opened like a month before the construction started, so people didn't get a chance to find it. That's what I think the problem.
I think
is.
the
construction-
construction around for longer than before construction started. Publico been there for a few years.
Really?
They've been building. Yeah, they've been building for years. But
Yeah, they were open for a few years. They was way before construction started. And if they had good food, so people are like, people like going to Soul Taco and then like, oh, we can't go there, like a block, like a 50
Yeah.
feet past it. Like, nope, the construction's crazy right there. Like, no, they just don't have good
wasn't good
business
enough.
model.
Did
Yeah.
you go?
Fuck no.
I went once when it first opened. It was all right.
He came back and said, "Is this all right?" And I
Yeah.
just never had an interest to going. I didn't. People, not
And nobody was talking about it.
everyone talks about this random place in Bitten Park in a random street that sells subs, a deli. Blue City Deli is one of the fucking busiest places in St. Louis.
Yep.
It's in a random neighborhood,
Yeah.
random street.
It's not near
Oh
enough.
yeah, Shaved Duck is like that too.
Shaved Duck is
Straight
like
up in the
that.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's
Just-
always packed.
Always packed.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
Blackthorn Pizza.
Yep.
Like if it's good,
They will come.
they will come. If it's not, you're gonna say,
Bye-bye.
"Oh, location, construction."
Yeah.
Like you know,
All right, touche.
I have real strong feelings about that.
Everybody go to Bow in Clayton. That place will light your mouth on fire in the most orgasmic way.
They're gonna come. Okay.
No.
Please come to Bow.
Come to
Please
Bow.
come at Bow.
Bow.
And no, it's a great. The drinks are great. The ambience is great.
Bow, bow, bow.
The food's great. And yeah.
All right.
Go to Bow in Clayton.
Susie mentioned so. We out. Peace.
Bye, everybody.
Peace.
Cool. It's only over an hour.